And we're back once again, only on It's After Hours, only on Full Swap Radio. And join me here on location, this young lady here. Well, you got to check out the website. You check out the website, and everything makes sense, and you know why she's that damn impressive, that beautiful, and that hardworking. It's a masterpiece. Avian nominees on the show, a businesswoman is on the show, and one of the most beautiful men in the adult industry is on the show. I give you it's Meana Wolf. So, Meana, start off with your website. Looks beautiful. It looks
Thank
classy, looks
you.
elegant. How much work went into that? Like for you, how much before you even went up? How much do you like spend on like figuring out the idea, figuring out your brand, figuring out what you want to do, and having a plan so you could basically attack this head on.
Well, a lot of effort and time went into all that. Luckily, my husband Jack and I are pretty good at telling our computer programming website guy what we want. So, a lot of work, a lot of time and preparation, and yeah, a lot. Thank you so much for the compliments.
Well, it's true. I mean, as I said, a lot of people enjoy your work. A lot of people love what you do, but how much goes into it? Because for you itself, I mean, this is high quality. So it's not like you're just like grabbing an iPhone, going, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna see some porn." Click, click, click. It's like no, 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 no. It's high quality. So for you, how much do you spend on just like making sure everything is lined up before you even do it? Like the lighting, camera. Okay, this is the angle I want. I want to shoot. This is what I want. How I want it to look. Getting a makeup artist or doing the makeup yourself so you can look in a presentable way. Like this is all something that takes, I'm guessing, like several hours.
For sure, yeah. So Jack and I do all the production ourselves. So it's just us two here day after day. And every movie we do, we usually we set up our lighting, we're doing camera tests and angles and making sure that the light is hitting just right in all the different positions. And then we like to try and film a couple movies in that same setup. So a lot of the movies will look similar, you'll probably notice. We do try to switch it up as much as possible, but yeah. So what else? I kind of conceptualize all the videos myself in terms of how I want the stories to go. I do take some fan suggestions here and there, but mostly it's just me sort of coming up with the general concepts. I do my makeup myself, and when we go to film, I'm kind of just improvising these different characters and these different storylines. And it does take a long time. Sometimes we're here shooting, our work day is a 12-hour work day just to get one movie. Sometimes, we don't make it all the way through because we're just not feeling right that day and things don't work out. So sometimes, we can work a whole day and nothing comes of it. Like, it's hard to appreciate how much work does go into these things. We do have a really high standard for what we want our audience to see and how we want them to feel watching our movies. So, it's a lot of work.
When you say conceptualize, like how much do you? Because as I said, you have storylines, so you have a storyboard. You're writing all this. How do you come up with them? Like for your stuff, you're alone. How much? How do you come up with it? And how often do you like rewrite stuff? Like, all right, this I want the dialogue. This way, I want how everybody to look. So I want the outfits because this, as I said, this screams like you put thought into it. So when do you cut it off? Like for yourself, when do you just go, okay, I'm being too much of a perfectionist. I'm over obsessing about this. I gotta just let it go. This is what I like, and just don't do it. Not do it. Go. Well, I gotta make another change. I gotta rewrite this, and then all of a sudden, I'm like spend too many hours rewriting, re-editing, copy, clipping, pasting. It's like you'll go insane.
Yes. Yeah. So there is the way around that is that I don't actually do any writing itself. Aside from, in my mind, I have a general idea for what I want the character to be like, what the overall like story is between the two people. And then I just sort of let the universe tell me what to say and do. And I don't, sometimes I think of a few lines I might want to say as I'm doing my makeup that morning. I'll be thinking about it, and I might not always get those in, and I'll be kicking myself later. But the idea is to sort of let it be a natural, immersive experience. So all the movies, like it's an hour long sex scene with a story that I'm actually just improvising, and I'm just in the moment, sort of trying to be that character, like and connect with the audience. So there is no real editing. There is no real writing. It's just meant to be this sort of like really, what's the word I'm thinking of? Just sort of this um, untangible kind of like moment of sort of sexual creativity just happening, if that makes sense. So sometimes I do have to kind of accept that I messed up a word, or I said something I didn't exactly want to say, or I forgot to say something that I really wanted to. But the most important thing is that it's this sort of authentic experience happening.
How do you find people collaborate? And what do you look for when you are finding your partners? Because it's your stuff. You get to pick the groceries, you get to cook for dinner and deliver the food, as they say. What are you looking for when you're like casting people for your kind of work?
For us, we haven't done very many collaborations. We do have a small handful, and sometimes those are people that have like they've reached out to me and they've said like, "Hey, I really want to be in a video," and Jack and I, we live in Vancouver in Canada, so we don't have access to as many performers as we would if we were living in LA. So sometimes these are people that are close by, and being close by is a great thing. And mostly, I guess I'm just it could be anybody to collab with, as long as they're like a vetted performer, of course. And then I try to sort of cater the story and the performance around what I think will feel right with them.
So that's the next question to ask. What is a experienced performer? Because some people say, "Oh, I only shoot porn stars." There's other people like, "Oh yeah, I'll shoot content creators," and they're becoming the bigger sellers because they are hustling, they're creating, they're doing all this stuff. You're both. You're a content creator. You're also a porn star. So, what is it that when you say experience, like, do you is it several videos? Is it being movies? Like, where is it? I guess for you, like, what is the experience you're looking for?
I should correct you, because I definitely wouldn't label myself as a porn star. I haven't done studio work, and I feel like in this age of kind of content creators and porn performers and porn stars, like everyone's kind of trying to find their sort of identity, and not that it's like a hierarchy thing or anything, because nobody's interested in that bullshit, but like I'm definitely not a porn star. I wouldn't say. Um, so for me, for looking for experience, I'm really just looking for somebody who's been in a couple things where I can just take a look at the performance and I can see how I can utilize their talent. So if somebody doesn't have like any movies that I can see, or they don't have any experience acting or something like that, that's probably not going to be somebody that I would like invest a lot of time and effort and money into performing with. But there's no real qualifier other than I just want to be able to see them perform and know what they're going to be like.
You've mentioned your husband, Jack. How much does he help you in terms of the behind the scenes stuff? And what is it about him that you just fell in love with? Because you can have any guy you want, and yet this is a guy who as I'm talking to you, it's just you talked about him as if he is the best thing since deep dish cheese pizza.
Well, I do feel that way. Jack and I have been uh performing and making movies for it's getting close to 10 years now. But we've been together for about 18. So we do have a long relationship outside of performing and outside of like experimenting with other people in our lives. And there is a connection and a love that happens, after being a long time together when you've experienced a lot together and you've grown together. And, you know, I just ever since I met this guy, just knew that he was my guy and my sweetie, and I've been obsessed with him ever since, and I love him to death. And in terms of helping me outside, behind the scenes with this work, like he is completely responsible, I would say, for everything visual that you see happening on the website. He is running the camera as he's performing. He is designing the lighting. He is doing, the photoshopping and the selecting of the photographs for the website. He's taking the photographs for the website. He's part of the web design. He literally is like the other half of like he's the technical half of our sort of creative partnership. So this really is like a love child of ours. We have no children. This is our love child. Yeah.
So, it's how difficult has it been the last couple of years, especially with pandemic going on. So we weren't able to travel a lot because, hey, COVID shut down travel from Canada to the United States for long periods of time. People were doing everything remotely. People were not, shooting as much. You had to be social distancing. Like for you, how much of over the last 3 years, basically the last 3 years for you, like, okay, we gotta get creative. We gotta figure out ways to produce content, even though we can't travel as much. We can't go to conventions and collaborate stuff because hey, social distancing people.
Yeah, unfortunately, like COVID did create some problems for us. We had a lot of collaborations on the books that we had to cancel. And it's only in the last little while that like crossing the border between Canada and America has been like significantly easier. So it's tricky, like vaccination protocols and all that stuff, it all kind of contributed to problems with collaborations. And then when that's over, you still have a personal life that doesn't necessarily line up with all your collaborative plans and your production plans. So we're lucky because it is at the end of the day, our product is just us. There's so many things I would have loved to have done and things that I'd love to still do in the future that were canceled, but we are really lucky that it hasn't been terribly problematic for us, but it did put a wrench in things for sure.
You mentioned the personal life. How do you guys, or is it easier having a personal life because both you two are in the business? You understand, everything that goes on, whether it's obsessing about trying to do as much stuff, in as little time as possible to sex versus love to you both are busy. Like how much does it help that you guys are the two of you have, are able to balance everything because both you guys know exactly this industry, what goes on.
Yes. It's I feel like we're unique. We're special in terms of the amount of each other we can tolerate. I don't think there are a lot of couples who would like to be this intimate with their partner all the time. I really enjoy it. He's right now I can see his screen that he's working on and he's looking at me, doing something sexy and that's what he's working on right now. And our lives are just really this crazy balance of being who we are on camera, being who we are as coworkers, being who we are, like me basically kind of being his boss and being we are as like lovers and a couple. And it's taken us a long time to figure it out, but it really is at a amazing groove at this stage. So we're really enjoying work these days and this kind of magical life where we just get to hang out with each other all the time.
Why Canada? You two have made a good, nice little empire. So you could easily move to the United States, Vegas, Florida, even Arizona, someplace where it's cost affordable, where there's a huge porn community. There's not much in Vancouver. So for you two, why is it that you still call, Western Canada home? Why is it that you haven't, moved to the United States or become US citizens?
It is so cute when Americans ask this question because it's like, oh, you guys don't know like that it's not easy to just get like a visa, like a work visa to just like live in America. So it's actually very complex. It's very expensive. It's very difficult for a Canadian to just up and work in America, unless I was like a doctor or a nurse or something. That would be a lot easier. But as a porn performer, it's not exactly a cut and dry thing. So I would love to be able to have like a new project in the States. I'd love to be able to work with more people and work down there. But it's just n not legal. Sorry, did I cut out?
No, no, you didn't. But I'm saying
Okay.
I'm saying the next step. Like it's like from talking to people who I've known who know you. You guys have no intention of leaving Canada. It's like this is your home. So what is it about? I guess, and maybe I wasn't. Maybe I should have been more clear. What is it about
No, no,
this
no.
like
That's
Canada
okay.
that you love so much? Like no, no, I'm fine. We're fine living here. We love this place more than moving to the United States.
Okay, so I guess the other part is personal life. My whole family is here. Jack's family is mostly here as well. So, we're still in that phase of our lives where we want to be close to our family and our aging
Huh.
parents. I really do want, my dream has been to go to the States and make something happen there. So that's something that, we started working on during the pandemic, but then slowed down and then things got in the way. So I want it to happen, but not sure if that's in our future or not.
How big is it that you are close to family? I mean, and how nice is it that for you guys, the family, and this it sounds like, so maybe I'm being presumptuous, but the family is very accepting of what you do, or they support you no matter what, but they haven't went, oh my God, why are you doing this? You need a career change. Please get out of this industry.
Well, for I think for my family, like it started out a little bit that way, where they were a little bit concerned, I guess, about our choice. But I think Jack and I really, we didn't tell people until we knew that we had something special. And now that we've been at this a long time, we haven't had any like we didn't have a breakup because of it or we didn't lose our relationship over it. I think that now they're like, oh well, you guys are the most together people we know at this point. So like we're happy for you, we're proud of you and what you've accomplished and keep on going.
You mentioned before the difficulty of getting visas, which I understand. Trust me, as somebody who's dealt with people who are coming from Europe, it's never fun having to get a visa and going through the paperwork and planning around time. So for you especially, like how far in advance do you have to plan a collab when it's like, okay, gotta wait on the visa, gotta wait on the federal government. Who knows when the federal government's gonna get around to it? Like how far
Yeah.
out do you have to land a collab when as you said, it's not like I just gotta get the funds together. It's, no, I gotta get the funds, I gotta get the paperwork, I gotta make sure the government responds on time. If it's not looking around and going, sure, you're not a terrorist. No, I'm not a terrorist. I just want to shoot porn. No, no, that's good of it. But hey, we'll try to figure something out. We'll say we're like traveling salesmen.
Right. Right. Well, so for sort of more casual collaborations, not that like alleged casual collaborations, I would allegedly probably just not do any of that. I would probably allegedly just fly them up. But we haven't been able to really do that in the last couple of years, more for like the pandemic and just like, you know, personal reasons that either we have to cancel or they have to cancel. So that's something that hasn't happened more recently. But if I were to do something large scale in terms of a new project in the States or something, and like a new website or totally a new concept, which I would love to do, that would be like a totally involved process that would probably take, you know, a year to accomplish of getting a proper visa for that.
So why do you do it? I mean, because it sounds like I mean, there must be days where you guys look and go, "This isn't worth it. This is just too much time, too much haggling. Let's just shoot our own stuff and screw everybody else." Like,
We
how do
we
you guys keep
mostly do
motivated?
that. We that's honestly that's what we mostly do. I'm lucky because our fans they really do resonate with what we're creating. And so they, you know, they keep coming back and we're so grateful for them. It does cost a lot of money to plan collaborations and I hope to do some in the future, but mostly we just stick to what we're best and like uh what's the word I'm thinking of? Most reliable at doing, which is performing with each other.
So how do you keep it fresh? Because that's the trick part. Is after a while people go, okay, we've seen this, we've seen this, we've seen this, and you gotta, and it's like pro wrestling. You always got to keep the character fresh, or else people get tired and they'll tune in for something else. Especially when there's more porn you can shake a stick at. So for you, how do you and your husband keep things fresh so that even though you're doing the same thing, basically, people still are looking because there's a little nuance, there's something different, there's something spicy. Like, how do you come up with changing things up just so that more people are tuning in every week or every month and giving money so that they can see you guys perform with each other?
I think there is um there's sort of like two parts to this. I think in some ways, like just like the fans really know our commitment to the quality of work in terms of how it looks, but also in my performances that I really am, whenever I go in front of camera, I really am committed to giving them a unique experience that's different than the one they had before. So they know that they can expect that. And then at the same time, they know that there's something unexpected, that each performance is kind of different. And they are kind of curious what I'm going to say. And the excitement of not knowing who I'm going to be or what I'm going to say is kind of what does keep them coming back.
Do you ever get tired of having to do all this? Because it's, as I said, this is not like other performers who they just, oh yeah, we're gonna do a collab and they do it, or yeah, we're gonna just shoot a scene and they'll do it, and they can always change it up with freshness. For you, it's more, as you said, you got to think more. I got to be more creative. I got to come up with different storylines. I got to come up with different dialogue ideas. I got to come up with different outfits, different role plays, and you can't. It's, as I said, it's like women in shoes. You can't wear the same shoes twice in a day, 2 days in a row, because that's just not acceptable. So, do you ever get drained having to come up with different scenarios almost every time you're shooting?
Uh, yes and no. I think that in I love doing it. I enjoy kind of embodying these different female characters that I play, you know, each week. So I do love it. There is part of me that's sort of longing for a different form of expression, you know, with not necessarily performing myself, but maybe producing with other people, where I might get the opportunity to just have a different visual language and a different type of storytelling. Part of me is longing for that. So it's not that I'm getting like maybe it's easy to get sick of yourself. Like I'm looking at myself a lot and I'm interacting like with my brain a lot. And I would love to be collaborating with other people creatively also, I guess is the answer.
So what's the plan, I guess, going forward? Because I'm guessing at this point you start going, okay, if we want to do AVN, you got to start getting the paperwork. Or if we want to do Exotica New Jersey, maybe you might be able to try to get paperwork. But what is the plan? I mean, is it for you? How much are you looking at going? Okay, either AVN or XBiz, Vegas, and go, or XBiz Los Angeles, XBiz LA. Go. All right, we got 6, 7 months to plan for this, and that should give us some time to get the paperwork, get the money, everything organized. Hopefully, we can pull this off.
Yeah, we'll see. This year AVN is a good option for us, and Xmas is a good option for us. And we've been kind of eyeing the Exoticas. But it's hard because we do so much of our production ourselves, as we kind of talked about earlier. So it is kind of hard to take the time off to do these events. And I'm not a super well-known performer. So, there's not always this crazy turnout for people to come and meet me. So it's kind of hard to know where the benefits in doing these types of events are, but they are a lot of fun and it's wonderful to connect with people that we worked with or that we want to work with. So we'll see. We'll see what happens this year.
So before we let you go, who's on the bucket list? Who are some of the people, as you said, that you want to collaborate with? Because I'm guessing there's like a notebook where you've written down like 10, 12 people that you haven't worked with, you had your eye on. Like, okay, one of these days I'm going to pull this off. I don't know how. I'm going to pull it off. So for you, who is on the list? Who's on, like, give me some people on the list that you were looking going, God, if I could pull this off, I would love to collaborate with these people because they're creative, they're beautiful, they know what they're doing, and damn it, I could have some fun.
Yeah. I'd love to the fans, they've seen me work with Alex Jones before. I'd love to have him return. I'd love to see Isaiah Maxwell. He's been somebody that I'd really wanted to work with. Oliver Flynn I'd love to work with, and Jay Romero. And then so many girls, just like an endless amount of girls. Ember Snow, I'd love to work with. I'd love to work with some of the trans girls in the industry as well. The list is quite huge of people that we'd love to work with. So we'll see what the future holds.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we're proud to have on the show. I give you avian nominee, business owner, website owner, and all around talented performer. I give you it's Miss Meana Wolf. Meana, before we let you go, where can fans check you out at? Where is the website once again? If they didn't hear it, where is Twitter, Instagram? Where can fans hit you up at?
Yeah, my website is meanawolf.com. We have over 350 videos there, so you can subscribe and see them all. I have some extras there as well, some casual content and photos. So lots of stuff there for you guys. And my Instagram and Twitter is Meana Wolf XOXO.
Meana Wolf, ladies and gentlemen, once again, always an honor and a pleasure. Have you on the show. We come back. A lot more going on here, only on its after hours, only on Full Swap Radio.
Thanks so much.